Today, we're going to be talking about potential new manufacturers that could be coming in NASCAR in the next couple years. Let's go and just straight to it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. It was reported about a month ago by Adam Stern that NASCAR had basically declined potentially the rumors about a new manufacturer that potentially could be coming into the sport. Now, about a month ago, it had been reported that NASCAR had been really close to announcing a new manufacturer that would be coming to the sport in the foreseeable future. Now, it is expected that a new manufacturer could be coming to sport as early as 2023, but is expected with the delay due to COVID-19. It is expected that the new manufacturer could be coming into sport as early as 2024. So within the next 2 years, there potentially could be some new manufacturers that are jumping into sport. The first manufacturer we're going to talk about is Honda. Honda has been linked as the most likely new manufacturer that could be joining the sport of NASCAR. And the reason that Honda has been linked is because of the fact that Honda has a huge influence currently in motorsports at the moment. I do believe that they're currently in IMSA, if I'm not mistaken, right now at the moment. They are currently in Formula 1 at the moment, and they're currently in IndyCar right now at this moment as well. However, it has been talked about that they are expected to be leaving F1 at the end of this year, and that AlphaTauri and Red Bull are expected to go over to a new manufacturer, whether it's Alfa Romeo or another manufacturer in the foreseeable future at the end of this year. If the new regulations come into Formula 1, that means that there is going to be less inventory for Honda to go to at this current moment. So to me, I think Honda would be the most likely manufacturer that could be coming into sport. They have denied rumors that they would jump in because they have said that if we're going to jump into NASCAR, we'd have to shut down our portion of IndyCar. But with them leaving Formula 1 at the end of this year, I do believe that Honda has a very good possibility of jumping into NASCAR, and I think that they will probably be the most likely to jump into sport as a fourth OEM going forward. With the next-gen car as well, and restrictions and everything coming onto the next-gen car, I think that they definitely are in the consideration to be the first potential new manufacturer coming into the sport. The second manufacturer we're going to talk about is Dodge. Now, Dodge was in NASCAR from around 2001 to 2012. They also were back in the 60s and 70s, but they came back in 2001 and they left NASCAR in 2012. They were going to potentially race in 2013. However, they did not get approved for the Gen 6 cars, so they dropped out of the sport after 2012 when they won the championship with Brad Keselowski. So they have not been in NASCAR since 2012. And there have been talking negotiations about them from the Chrysler plan, the Fiat Chrysler plan, that they were looking to potentially get back into NASCAR at some point. Now, they have recently gotten back into motorsports over the last year or so with Peugeot, and Dodge apparently has been working with Peugeot as well. They've also been getting a little bit more horsepower as well and increasing the size of their horsepower in their car as well. I think a lot of people really want Dodge to come back to sport, especially since they're one of the legendaries from the 2000s. I think that Dodge come back to sport would be really cool. Now, what teams could go over to Dodge perhaps? Maybe other teams like Penske goes back to Dodge for all we know. Maybe we see some other teams come into the sport. Maybe we see Stewart-Haas Racing jump over to Dodge. I'm not exactly sure, but Dodge potentially could be the next manufacturer that we could see in the sport going forward. The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is Nissan. Now, Nissan is one of the fastest growing brands currently in the United States currently at the moment. And Nissan in the past has expressed interest of potentially going into NASCAR. They expressed interest back in 2018 when there have been discussions about an all-electric series that could be coming into the sport, which is something that is currently in the works right now as we speak. Nissan had interest back in 2018 and said they were one of the manufacturers that could be interested in going into the sport. And with the next-gen car currently in development right now, they could be in the running for that as well. And with it growing at the moment, and they also have programs, I believe, in Formula E as well, and they also have programs currently in the IMSA series as well. They don't have any other programs in other brandings as well, if I'm not mistaken. But Nissan definitely should be up for consideration as a potential new manufacturer that could come into sport, whether it's in the electric companion series or whether it is in NASCAR's regular divisions. I'm not exactly sure, but they do have a few cars that could be available for that, and Nissan could be up for grabs there. Manufacturer we're going to talk about is Acura. Now, Acura does have a pretty big presence overall in motor racing as well. They do have a presence in IMSA at the moment when they do compete in the GTDs and the GTLM class currently at the moment. They also do believe in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, they do have programs in the LMDH class, which LMDH is coming in 2023. They do have programs over there. And I'm not sure if Acura has overall expressed interest, but they do have pretty big presence in the United States as well. I think they're one of the more least likely manufacturers that could jump into sport in the foreseeable future, but they could get interested in the next-gen car, and I think that they would definitely be up for grabs. They do have the Acura NSX, which could be the car that they use if they are to jump into NASCAR, and I think that they should definitely be up for consideration to maybe one of the new manufacturers that comes to the sport. Acura could be up for consideration going forward. The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is Hyundai. Now, Hyundai, I think with their Elantra and stuff, I do think that they overall, and the Sonata as well, I do think overall that they have potential of being another new manufacturer coming into the sport. And I think if they're one that could be up for consideration as well. They are another company that is growing in the United States at this particular moment. And to me, Hyundai does have a pretty big branding here in the United States as well right now. And I do believe that they have some presence in motorsports. Well, I don't know if they've had it in a very, very long time, but they've had past motorsports, and they are one of them that apparently has been potentially in conversation of getting into the sport. I'm not exactly sure, but Hyundai could be a brand that we need to keep an eye on, and more Japanese presence in the sport could be big for the Japanese marketing out there and could grow the sport over to Japan and other markets as well. The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is BMW. Now, BMW has definitely at points denied their presence potentially coming in NASCAR, but last year they were teasing potential plans to maybe coming over to NASCAR, becoming a new manufacturer in the foreseeable future. Now, BMW, I believe, was involved in the Dieselgate situation, if I'm not mistaken, with the Volkswagen plants and all. I think they were involved with the Dieselgate situation back in 2008. They do have presence in Formula E. They also do have presence at IMSA at the moment. But with the talk of electric components coming onto the car, that could interest a company like BMW to get into the sport. I'm not sure if they've ever had presence in NASCAR before, but they do have presence in other manufacturing companies in the past as well, and a lot of other different brandings. They have, like I said, they have presence in Formula E. They are going back, I believe, to IMSA. They're going back to the European World WEC Series as well, so they are looking to go back over to that going forward. They're in talks about that right now over the next couple of years, and I think that definitely they will be up for consideration going forward long term. Like I said, they discussed about potentially getting back into NASCAR, getting to other manufacturers in the past, and I definitely think they should be up for consideration long term and going forward. We'll have to see what happens long term, but they are in talks about potentially getting into the sport going forward. The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is Kia. Now, Kia, I absolutely think I think Kia is definitely potentially in the running of getting into the sport. They have multiple different cars that definitely work. They also do have one or two trucks that they use for the truck series. They also have cars they use for the Xfinity series and for the Cup series as well, where they can definitely diverse their catalog as well. They also could get involved in working in that electric series as well that does come long term, and they definitely could be one of those brandings and manufacturers that gets up for grabs long term as well. Again, they may not be the first manufacturer that does get into the sport, but they might be one of the second or the third manufacturer, because like I said, NASCAR's talking about potentially getting 2 or 3 new manufacturers, and with the next gen car, you could have interest with that branding going forward to get into the sport. So Kia definitely is up for grabs as a potential new manufacturer as well, and we'll have to wait and see what happens, but keep an eye on Kia because I do think that they are up for grabs. The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is Lexus. I think Lexus is another brand that absolutely could get into the sport. Lexus has big branding currently in IMSA at the moment with their current package right now, and they are really, really competitive in IMSA as well. And IMSA has association with NASCAR as well because Jim France runs WeatherTech Sports Car Series as well and makes a lot of the official decisions and decision-making over at the IMSA Sports Car Series currently at the moment as well. And they have been, I believe also they've been involved of testing the next-gen car as well in the past. Also, I think Cadillac's been involved with that as well as another manufacturer. I'll talk about a second. But Lexus definitely has that sort of branding that could get involved with the sport, and it would be really, really big for America because, again, Lexus has a pretty big branding over there, and I definitely think we should overall keep an eye on Lexus. I think they have a really good chance over there. The next manufacturer, speaking of which we're going to talk about, is Cadillac. Now, Cadillac is one of them that has also been testing the next-gen car. The Wheel and Engineering Racing Team, the Action Express Racing Team, which has association with currently with NASCAR because of Jim France owns that organization, runs that organization. That is one that I think we should keep an eye on as well. It's a manufacturer really has not been discussed or talked about, but I absolutely think that Cadillac could be up for consideration to get into the sport, and I think Cadillac will have an opportunity of getting into the sport going forward. I think Cadillac would also be really good for the GM plant, considering GM is talking about basically decreasing how much, like electricity, and they're going to more electric and all that stuff and get rid of fuel and going hybrid long term. Cadillac could also get involved as well with other programs as well. And the final manufacturer we're going to talk about, and this one is probably the least likely to get in the sport, but we're going to talk about Tesla. The only reason I bring up Tesla right now is because of the fact that Tesla is really one of the fastest growing companies here, and not just in the United States, but overall in the world as well when it comes to cars. And the reason I bring them up is because of the all-electric series. I think that they are the most likely to go to the all-electric series because, again, Tesla is an all-electric car. And I think Elon Musk would definitely be interested in maybe investing in NASCAR. And not only that, I think Tesla could have a branding into the sport, and I think we could see Tesla become potentially the last manufacturer that we see get involved in the sport. I think they're the least likely that will get into the sport, but you never know. We've seen a lot of crazy things happen in the sport, and I think Tesla could be up for grabs to get into the sport long term. So anyway, that is me for today's NASCAR video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, support page, so links get you over that, and comment your manufacturers you like to see below in NASCAR. Do you think there should be any manufacturers that I did not mention today? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great NASCAR and SRX content on the channel. Take care, everybody.